Good morning, everyone. I am Jack Madrid, and welcome to Industry Beacon, where we spotlight the titans of industry who shape our future. We're not just talking about success stories, we are diving deep into their hearts and minds to see what drives them, as we decode the future one dialogue at a time. Real estate is not just transforming skylines, it is reshaping how we live, work, and build our future. In today's rapidly evolving market, every brick laid and every planned development tells a story of innovation and opportunity. The Philippine property sector stands at a fascinating crossroads where we are witnessing a fusion of sustainable architecture, technology-driven spaces, and strategic expansion into high-potential areas. As international tourism surges back to the country, it is catalyzing an exciting wave of development across hospitality and mixed-use projects. So, what does 2025 hold for savvy investors? Where are the emerging hotspots that could define tomorrow's prime locations? Here to guide us through these crucial questions and share invaluable insights is Sheila Lobien, the CEO and founder of the Lobien Realty Group, one of the country's most progressive real estate brokerage firms. Sheila, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jack. It's a pleasure and it's an honor to be here this morning.
Well, let's dive right into it, Sheila. You know, as we move into 2025 after an exciting 2024, in your opinion, what are the most significant trends shaping our country's commercial and residential property markets? And are these trends a result of some broader economic or societal shifts? What are you seeing?
Well, trends that we see nowadays, Jack, are because of factors that we've experienced in the last few years. So number one, the COVID-19 pandemic, very recent, of course, and then the elevated interest rates, inflation, and the recent exit of POGOs. All these three big things that happened in the Philippine real estate market affected the trends that we're seeing today. So if you look at the residential market after experiencing the pandemic, a lot of Filipinos who were, trapped in a very small condominium, today, if they can afford it, they would go to a bigger place, buy a bigger condominium unit in the main CBD, live near their places of work, or if they can afford again, buy a bigger house and lot with a pool, etc. Because, if another lockdown happens, which we don't want, you have your garden there, fresh air can come in, etc. And then when you look at the commercial real estate market, a lot of developers right now are focusing on the green building, that sustainability element wherein fresh air can come inside, less sickly syndrome can happen. So we've seen all these happening, especially after the pandemic. So those are the things that are shaping the real estate market today in residential and commercial real estate. Then there's industrial market as well, the warehousing, because of the growth in e-commerce. So after the pandemic or during the peak of the pandemic, a lot of Filipinos started to buy things online, and that fueled the growth in the industrial sector. So the warehousing market has seen a big growth in the last how many years?
That's a great summary of how, the 3 years of the pandemic has really changed how we live, how we work, what we want, and has helped us prioritize, what's important in our life. We're going to talk about sustainability also in a moment, but just going back to some of those trends that you talked about, Sheila, how do you see these trends impacting the strategy of our country's property developers and investors who may be watching?
Okay. So again, if you're looking at the commercial real estate market today, after all those experiences that we've seen, developers are now more conscious, as shared. They're doing several green projects, incorporating that in their construction, more green space, more areas for recreation, more sunlight that can enter the office unit. So all that The mixed-use township developments, we're seeing that, not just here in Metro Manila, but all over the Philippines. In the residential market, a lot of house and lot projects outside Metro Manila, more affordable and bigger. So a lot of developers are looking and focusing at that after all these experience that we've seen. And we can see that if you look at the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas real estate loans. So after the pandemic, we've seen an increase in loan take-up outside Metro Manila for house and lot projects. And then inside Metro Manila for condominium projects, because Filipinos would like to live near their place of work if they can afford. So they'll just work, live, and play in one area instead of, enduring the traffic and long commute.
So, Sheila, I wanted to ask you, what makes the Philippine real estate market unique? And are there some interesting trends that are unique to the Philippines compared to, what's happening globally?
Globally. Not unique, Jack, but I think long overdue. If you look at other countries, the first world countries, the developed countries, they're into green buildings. Sustainability is always there, that mixed use, master plan community. Here we're seeing that, and all the more today, developers, big players are leading the way. They are incorporating that in their projects. And I think it's one of the best ways to decongest Metro Manila also and incorporate sustainability. Metro Manila is so congested. Bulk of economic activities, they're still happening in Metro Manila and in the NCR Plus. So in the south, Cavite, Laguna, all the way to Batangas. In the north, Pampanga, Bulacan, Tarlac, but everything is near here. So the traffic, the pollution, the density, the number of Filipinos working in Metro and NCR Plus. So to decongest that, we need to develop more townships, mixed-use projects outside this center. So all the way to, as far as Cebu, in the Visayas, in Mindanao. So we need to do that with the help of the government and the big developers, the players in the market who can really influence what's happening in the country, provide better housing for Filipinos, more affordable housing, and the infrastructure projects that we see. We need that for the Philippines to be even more attractive and competitive, because we want foreign investments to come here also, more jobs for the Filipinos, and then more business also for the real estate developers and people like us who are helping all these players in the market.
And to take full advantage of the fact that the Philippines is an archipelago.
Yes.
Right? And it's not just Manila, it's not just Cebu. We have so many beautiful regions
Islands.
here. So let's talk about countryside, because you mentioned that. With locations like Cebu, Clark, Davao, Iloilo, Bacolod, that have emerged even for the IT/BPM industry and continue to attract attention. In your opinion, what locations or types of developments do you believe have the biggest growth potential for investors?
For investors. So simply look at all the infrastructure projects that the current administration is doing. When you follow that, all the land, the properties along that area will definitely appreciate in value eventually. So we need this to develop the towns, also the provinces, and to bring urbanization there. So that's I think the best advice that we can give to anyone. We need to decongest Metro Manila by providing urbanization in other parts of the Philippines and provide employment there as well. Bring the outsourcing, the BPO, the call centers there, right? The infrastructure has to be present, because companies, big players, will not look at a certain area or provincial area if there's no infrastructure there. And definitely talent is number one, right?
Absolutely.
You're in that segment industry, Jack, and you know that talent is the number one thing that these players or big locators would look at before going into a certain province or into a certain town. If the talent exists, then all the infrastructure also will come in. The big players will go there, put up shops, put up offices, malls, shopping centers, and that work, live, play environment will happen. The 15-minute city, that township urbanization will happen, and jobs will be created for Filipinos.
If you build it, they will come.
They will come. But talent has to be there. The Filipinos, the talented Filipinos should be in the area also, right?
You talked about infrastructure, Sheila. Now, what other examples of physical infrastructure projects should the government continue to focus on to really drive the growth, no, of hotspots? Is it airports, roads? What other projects should these emerging cities and provinces have?
All those things that you've mentioned, Jack, definitely airport, it has to have easy access for locals and foreigners. And mass transportation, like what I've shared in other countries, in the first world countries, you don't need a car to go around. Everything can be accessed by the trains, public transportation. Here, we still have to use our car. That's why the traffic is really sometimes very, very bad. But we want the mass transportation to happen. That's why I'm excited about the Metro Manila subway, the Luzon Express, connection, connecting the north and south, Cavitex, and then north, NLEX and SLEX.
Yes.
All these things, we need that to make commuting easy and make the to decongest Metro Manila, because property prices within Metro Manila is quite high compared to other parts of the town. And if we have that transportation links, then it would be easy for any Filipinos, locals, to even live there but still work in Metro Manila. Or when there are enough jobs there, then they don't have to be here in Metro Manila. Then economic activities will flourish in that town as well. And we want that so that more foreign investors will come in, more big players, big blue chip companies will do their back office here in the Philippines and employ talented Filipinos, and they don't have to go abroad anymore and find jobs there.
Right. Keep our citizens here.
Yes, by providing jobs.
So what any tips, Sheila, for our viewers on any upcoming developments or master planned communities that you are personally excited about?
I'm excited about so many things, Jack. The country is developing. We see a lot of infrastructure projects, as mentioned. However, I'm sure the investors in the country, they're also very savvy. So they just have to do their own homework, make informed decisions. So when you look at a certain property, you look at the current value now and the future value, what's going to happen in the area. So as I've shared, look at the master plan. It has to be, a city wherein everything that you need is there. There's school, hospital, place of work is there, entertainment area is there. So you live, work, and play in one area. And that's what we want to happen. So everything will not just be concentrated, say, in Makati or in BGC. You can be somewhere in the north or somewhere in the south, but everything that you need is within your reach. That's what we want, and that's sustainability in real estate too, right? You want that everyone can enjoy the facility, from an 8-year-old child to an 80-year-old person. It's all about the experience and giving all the people who will use this space the ability to enjoy it and be safe there too.
We have heard, ESG, has been a buzzword for quite a number of years now. Sustainability has also become a key focus for both developers and buyers. Now, in your opinion, how are these green building practices and eco-friendly features of property transforming the property landscape, and particularly in high-demand commercial residential sectors? Are buyers really looking at sustainability, or is it just nice to have?
Well, in the past, like probably 15, 20 years ago, there were only like 15 green buildings in the country. However, today, when you look at the number, we do have almost 450 buildings accredited with something, LEED certified, green element in there. So if you look at that, it's like certifying 2 buildings per month since 2009 up to today. So the industry recognized that they have to catch up. However, I think the government should support these private developers and encourage them to do more by giving them some incentives, probably. Unlike like in other countries, they have incentives when they do something green. So I believe the developers are doing their part in providing more green spaces, having some green element. And for the big multinational firms, the blue chip companies of this world, they are really mandated. It's part of their ESG compliance, right? To be inside a green certified building. And that's why if you're a developer today and you don't have that, then you'll be off the choices of these big players. When they enter the country, they look at the buildings with green certification. So if you don't have that, you won't be part of that. Unfortunately for the Filipinos who are buying properties, it's not that, they don't really acquire property and look for the green element right away. Not yet. It's for the high-end market, luxury market, because they can afford to buy a property that's LEED certified or has green element because it's bigger in terms of size. So in terms of value, it will also be more expensive compared to a smaller space. However, the local buyers, the Filipinos, they prefer to buy a property near their places of work. Proximity to office. So
it's still location.
Location. That's important. Timing, very important also in real estate.
We're now going to take a quick break. Industry Beacon will be right back. Please stay with us. And we're back. You're still watching Industry Beacon here on BNC. And still with us is Sheila Lobien, the CEO and founder of the Lobien Realty Group. Let's talk about tourism, Sheila. We keep hearing that it is bouncing back strongly and hopefully creating new opportunities for hotels, resorts, and even vacation rentals. Are there any specific trends or developments that are driving growth in these specific sectors? And for the investors who are watching, what should they be looking at to take advantage of this resurgence of tourism?
Tourism, Jack, is very close to my heart. I'm a graduate of BS Tourism in UP, so I love to travel with the family. And in the Philippines, there are so many beautiful places, islands, right? We haven't exhausted the whole country, so many things to see. Now, what the trends that we're seeing in the hospitality industry, a lot of players are developing hotels for the businessman, that category. Almost all the high-end brands are already here. The big players, they're already in the country, mostly in the major CBDs for the 5-star, 6-star brand. However, in the provincial areas, there is a need for that mid-market for the executives, not that pricey, more affordable for those domestic travelers, also for the locals, the balikbayan. So we see the big players in the hotel industry putting up several projects all over the metro. So as far as the Visayas and then in the north also. And multiple brands addressing the different pricing points of different segments.
I really think that tourism should really be the third leg of this economy, right? We have obviously the overseas Filipino workers, the OFWs, and then we have the IT BPM sector driven by the 1.8 million digital Filipino workers. Now, tourism should be rightfully the third leg. Now, my question is, are there some specific regions or destinations that you personally think will be the next big thing for Philippine tourism?
The south and northern part of the country, there are a lot of developments happening. And as mentioned, the infrastructure projects that we are seeing in the north and in the south will fuel the growth of tourism domestically and internationally. So the future airport planned in Bulacan, that would really drive, I think, the tourism in the area. And once all these infrastructure projects are done, then a lot of locals, Filipinos, will easily travel back and forth from south to north. So look at all these mixed-use projects that the big players are doing. Follow that. I'm excited about so many things. I just don't want to mention a certain developer.
Oh, you're not like David Lee Chu, who was here a few weeks ago. He had his own specific favorites.
But there are a lot of things happening out there, so I don't want to play favorites. But so many projects, developments happening, supporting the infrastructure projects of the administration.
You know, we keep hearing about how great, you know, both Japan and Thailand are doing in driving tourism revenue. So probably some lessons to learn, you know, especially from Thailand and how they've become like their tourism revenue, I think, exceeds 80 billion. US dollars.
While we only have what, 12 billion?
Yeah,
something like
quite,
that.
quite small. So lots of potential. I agree with you.
So much room for growth.
So I have a follow-up question. You know, how have the rise of platforms such as Airbnb, you know, influenced and affected the more traditional hospitality investments? Do you see that? Do you see potential there?
Yes, definitely, Jack. I think Airbnb, we're quite late in the game because when you look at Europe, it's there. It's normal. It's everywhere. You book it online. You get a good location, more affordable compared to a typical chain hotels. In the country, it has democratized the property sector in that respect because now locals can buy a condo in the CBD and have it rented out. You know, they gain profit. They make money from that. So you don't have to own the whole hotel. With Airbnb, you're able to do that. And real estate become an investment part of your portfolio. A normal Filipino can do so right now. And there are many opportunities out there because of some oversupply of condominiums in certain parts of the metro.
Wonderful. You know, lots of insights that our viewers and myself have picked up from you, Sheila, this morning. Unfortunately, that is it for today's show. I am Jack Madrid. Thank you so much to our valued guest, Sheila Lobien, for sharing your unique perspectives with us. Catch us again tomorrow for more enlightening discussions on Industry Beacon. You can catch BNC on Free TV Channel 31 and on Signal Channel 24. Thank you for watching BNC, the Billionario News Channel, always on top.